This interview was on May 8th. Welcome to the Polytopian Interviewer, where I interview people on their experiences and views on the Polytopia Discord community. I have Mikwest with me today. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
How did you first get into the Polytopia Discord?
I was shown the game by Cytosine, and I really got into it. I waited until I bought a tribe until I entered. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
Cytosine said, "Welcome, little bro. Are you two related at all?"
Yeah, Cytosine is my sibling.
That's cool to have a sibling playing Polytopia as well.
Yeah.
Do you play each other often, or?
Yeah, semi-often. We'll sometimes send each other games.
Just whatever you feel like, nothing really specific?
Yeah.
And is that how you also got into the Dynamite team in Polychamps?
No, basically, the reason I joined the Dynamite team was mainly because Snooper, he gave me an invite to the Bomber server to look at the coaching channels. The Bombers were like really chill, and that's kind of why I joined.
How invested would you consider yourself to be in the Polytopia communities, especially the Elyrion tribe?
I would consider myself to be not as invested as I would like to be, especially with the Elyrion community, because the Elyrion community is very inactive. I would want to try and help get it to be more active.
Any particular plan, or is that just a general wish?
There is no real plan right now. It's basically just something I want to get done. Attila the Hun also has that thing. They want to get the Elyrion community more active too.
You also joined the Hoodrick tribe. Has anyone caught on to that and called you a traitor or anything?
Well, no one has called me a traitor. I think people probably have caught on. They just haven't really mentioned it.
In Polymasters, you're in Division A, the highest division. How did you achieve that?
To be honest, I think most of it was luck. In Division B, I really thought I would lose my games against Emiros, but he kind of just got screwed by his spawn. I wouldn't really call myself super skilled. I'd probably call myself decent at the game.
So you're saying you got into Division A by luck?
I personally believe that.
Would Polymasters be the tournament server you recommend the most?
Kind of depends on what you want. If you want games with multiple people, I would recommend Giants League. If you want 1v1s, either Facebook League or Polymasters, I would recommend both. If you want team games, I would recommend Polychamp. Just depends on what you want.
Would Elyrion be your favorite tribe then?
Yes, it is my favorite tribe.
Is it the aspect of the dragons or Polytars perhaps?
I really think it's the magic part, transforming the dragons, the fantasy setting. It has a really good theme too.
Mm-hmm. What's your least favorite tribe?
I would say Imperious. You would think that having even spawn rates for stuff like not for everything across the board would be good, but no, it's really bad because they're really inconsistent, and I really hate that about them because most of the time you get cucked by their spawns.
The inconsistency in resources, basically?
Yeah, the inconsistency of the resources.
That seems to be the most common complaint about them. Is your favorite unit the dragon?
It's a really good unit. I really like it. I'm not sure if it's my favorite. I really like the new shaman. Well, I really want to like the mindbenders, but mindbenders do need a buff. But I think my favorite would probably be the shaman right now.
Okay. Do you have any ideas of how the mind vendors can be buffed?
You know how they can heal, but it's only around them? I'm thinking giving them an individual heal that can be done through range, but it's like you can only heal one at a time that way. Let's say you have a giant around 2 tiles away, and it could be healed. There would be a green circle under it. If you tap the Mind Bender, you could press it and it would heal the giant.
Would it be the same amount of heal as normal?
I think so, because it's 4 health. It's a decent amount.
And if it can be 2 tiles away, it's less susceptible to night chains.
Yeah, if it could heal from afar, it would really help against night. It could really help other things like Navy games, like keeping a wall, or anything like that. But yeah, the Mind Bender as it currently is just a really bad unit.
So you don't necessarily like the playing IMO either?
IMO is an interesting tribe. If you can get the Altar of Peace, it can be pretty fun, but I would say with how the new spawns are, they are pretty inconsistent. You can spawn really close to your opponent, even in a large map.
Well, all you have to do is not attack them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it can be a problem. Because if they're advancing and you can't attack back, then there's a point of where they can just keep advancing their soldiers. And then if you finally get the Altar of Peace, it's at what cost? Maybe too big.
yeah.
Do you have a least favorite unit?
I'd probably say the Hexapod. That thing has too much going for it to be just 2 stars.
They can sneak
It
past
has,
enemies.
yeah, they can sneak past enemies. They have the same attack as a swordsman. They have 2 movement, which is really good. Plus, it's better.
Mm-hmm.
They're a really effective nuker, because you could just throw it at giant, and the hexapods will die, but the giants will just crumple as well. And mind you, hexapods only cost 2 stars, which means for something as cost efficient as that, it's really just, I think, busted in my opinion.
So you're suggesting they should be 3 stars instead? Like a regular rider?
I'm suggesting 1 star higher than a rider. It really should be more stars than 2.
Well, if it's 4, that greatly hurts the main thing going for Simanti, which is get bugs and rush the opponent.
Yeah, that is true.
Do you have a favorite strategy?
Trying to get a solid economy before doing anything aggressive. That's really not as good as a strategy now, because of the update, and now it's just Night Rush.
Not necessarily with the chopping nerf, though.
Yeah, but with the movement to Free Spirit, it really heavily implies to get Night.
Yeah, I guess. You just can't get as much funds as you used to chopping a bunch of trees. So is that your least favorite strategy, then? Or is it something else?
I would probably double Swordsman Ven Gear turn 0.
But according to one of Gully's April Fool's videos, if you do that, you're guaranteed to win.
Yeah,
It was
too much of a guarantee, man.
Well, it is an April Fool's video, and it is against bots.
Playing against humans would be a whole entire different story.
Definitely, especially if it's a larger, bigger map and you don't really meet anybody for a while. Because that's the main thing of Venger.
Yeah. At least they have that buff to where they always have 2 of a tier 1 source in their capital.
Mm-hmm. What's your most memorable game you ever played?
I would probably say it was a 2v2. Like, it was like a friendly 2v2 back in pre-Moonrise. My partner picked Luxador. We were up against Hudrick and Barter, and I picked Umaji. We ended up winning that game. I ended up having, I think, like 2 giant battleships before our opponents resigned.
How many games would you say you're in at once?
It kind of depends with Polychamp, Polymasters, and Giants League. That's a decent amount of game, around an average of 10.
Would you say your skill level is about where your Poly Elo says it is right now?
I don't think I've checked my Poly Elo. Hold on. Okay, so I have a global of 1032. I'll probably say it's around there.
Even though you got into Division A in Polymasters?
I don't really know how I did. I somehow did.
So you're a statistical anomaly then.
I guess.
Last question. What's your favorite part of the Discord Polytopia fandom as a whole?
Probably how nice and chill a lot of the people are. Sure, there are gonna be bad eggs and bunch, but a lot of the people I've met in the Discord community are really nice and chill.
Okay. That's all the questions I had. Thanks for letting me interview you.
Thank you for asking me to be interviewed. I didn't think this would happen.
Well, it did. Woo!
Yeah, it did.
All right. Later then.
Later.
Bye. As always, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, feel free to share it. For the text version, you can join my Discord in the description. I also have a YouTube channel where I play 1v1s and occasionally do tutorials. We'll be back next week. Bye!